Hello there, grade 6. This is Miss Maria. Today is the 14th of October 2020, Wednesday, day 4 of this week's revision. And today we are going to revise past simple, past continuous, and past perfect. Please check your pupils book pages 5 and 17 and workbook pages 15, 16, and 31. Objectives. By the end of this lesson, students will be able to first, identify the forms of past simple, past continuous, and past perfect tense. Second, discuss how past tenses function in a sentence. And third, reconstruct sentences from a statement to negative statement and into question. Let's recall past simple. In forming sentences in its past simple tense, we are just going to add d or ed if it's regular verb, and you need to learn your irregular verbs. It means you need to memorize them. Example sentences. He only wrote one letter. The verb is wrote, past form of write. This is irregular verb. She ate her breakfast. The verb is ate, past form of eat. This is also irregular verb. Anna talked to me. The verb is talked, past form of talk. This is regular verb. Let's remember that past simple shows that you are talking about something that has already happened. For regular verbs, you are going to add ed to the root form of the verb or just d if the root form already ends in an e. Examples: play, played; listen, listened; type, typed; love, loved. For other irregular verbs, including the verb to be, the simple past forms are more erratic. For example, see, saw; build, built; go, went; do, did; rise, rose. The verb to be, like is, are, will be was for singular and were for plural. But the good news is that verbs in the simple past tense, except for the verb to be, don't need to agree in number with their subjects. Let's recall past continuous. Remember, in making sentences in past continuous form, we are going to use was for singular subject and were for plural, plus the verb ing. For example, I was walking down the street when I saw a lorry. I is singular, so we use was plus the ing form of the verb, which is walking. Then the other verbs in the sentence should be in the past simple form. Next, he wasn't looking when the taxi hit him. This is a negative statement because of the word not. He is singular, so we use was, plus ing form of the verb, which is looking, and the past form, hit. Next, what were they doing when the lorry exploded? This is an interrogative or in question form. We use where since the subject is they, and this is plural, plus the ing form of the verb and the past simple form. Were you reading the newspaper when the lights went out? We use where because technically, even if you is singular, we are using plural verb. So we use where plus the ing form of the verb, which is reading, and the past simple form. Now, let's make sentences in their past continuous form by connecting the pictures. Number 1, Tony was driving a lorry. Number 2, Mrs. Potts was cooking. Number 3, the boys were playing football. Number 4, the baby was sleeping. Number 5, Lisa and her brother were watching TV. Take note that in sentence 1 we use was because the subject only is singular. Number 2, Mrs. Potts is singular, so we use was. Number 3, boys, this is plural, so we use were. Baby is singular, so we use was. Lisa and her brother is plural, so we use were. Let's look at the picture. This is Brown family, and they were home yesterday evening. Let us find out what were they all doing when the lights went out. Let us make sentences using past continuous form. Let's start with number 1. Mrs. Brown was ironing the clothes when the lights went out. We use was because Mrs. Brown is singular. Number 2, Mr. Brown was reading the newspaper when the lights went out. We use was because Mr. Brown is singular. Number 3, Lucy was talking on the phone when the lights went out. We use was because Lucy is singular. And number 4, Sam was washing the dishes when the lights went out. We use was because Sam is singular. Number 5, the cats were eating when the lights went out. We use were because cats is plural. There are 2 of them. Let's complete these sentences using either past continuous or past simple form of the verb. Make sure that you use your own ideas and your own words. Let's start. Mr. Hall was crossing the street when the lorry came and bumped him. Past continuous was crossing. Simple past came and bumped. Next, the children were playing in the garden when the rain poured down. Were playing, past continuous. Poured, simple past. Next, I was watching TV when the light turned off. Was watching, past continuous. Turned, past simple. Next one. I was sleeping when someone knocked at the door. Was sleeping, past continuous. Knocked, past simple. He was dancing when he tripped and fell. Was dancing, past continuous. Tripped and fell, simple past. The students were making noise when the teacher came in. Were making, past continuous. Came, past simple. Let's recall past perfect. Remember, in past perfect form, we are going to use had plus the past participle form of the verb. For example, after he had returned to Italy, he wrote about his travels. Next, he had made several journeys before he discovered Lake Victoria. Another one, no one had traveled along the Silk Road until Marco Polo made this journey. And remember, in making past perfect tenses, we also use time expressions like after, before, and until. Let's make statements about these explorers using past perfect. Let's start. Before the end of the 13th century, the Italian explorer Marco Polo had traveled to China. Another one. Before the end of 14th century, the Moroccan explorer Ibn Battuta had visited Mecca, Iran, and Turkey. After the 15th century, the Portuguese explorer Christopher Columbus had discovered North America. And Before 19th century, the British explorer John Speke had found the Lake Victoria, source of Nile. Let's join the sentences. Let's put one verb in the past perfect and two verbs in the past simple. Number one, after Marco Polo had traveled for 4 years, he arrived in China. Number two, he wrote about his travels after he had returned to Italy. Number three, before Columbus had sailed to America, he made many journeys. Number four, John Speke had explored Africa before he discovered the source of Nile. Number five, after Ibn Battuta had visited Mediterranean countries, he wrote books about them. Take note, we use time expressions before and after. Let's complete these sentences. Let's put one verb in the past perfect and one in the past simple. Let's start. Number one, few Europeans had explored Africa until John Speke went there in the 19th century. Number two, Speke thought that he had found the source of the Nile. Number three, until Marco Polo traveled all along the Silk Road, no one had made this journey before. Number four, at first, no one believed that Marco Polo had been to China. Number five, Columbus did not know that he discovered America. And number six, Ibn Battuta wrote about the countries which he had visited. Let's recall past perfect tense. Remember, we have three forms of sentences: affirmative or statement, negative, and interrogative or question form. In making affirmative sentences, we are going to use subject plus had plus past participle. He had finished the test when the bell rang. He, subject, had, and past participle, and the other verbs in the sentence should be in the past simple form. Negative, subject, had, plus not, plus past participle. Subject, had, not, past participle, and past simple. Interrogative, had, plus subject, plus past participle. Had, subject, plus past participle form of the verb and simple past form. Remember, in making past perfect tenses, we can use or sometimes, most of the time, or usually, it depends upon on you making sentences, we use time expressions like already, yet, for, since, just, after, before, until, or when. Let's complete the sentences with the verbs in brackets. Put one verb in the past simple and one in past continuous. Number one, Harry was crossing a busy street when a car hit him. Number two, when Mr. Gordon came home, the family was eating their dinner. Number three, Sally was putting on a warm jacket because a cold wind blew. Number four, she suddenly saw that it was snowing too. And number five, it was raining, so Mrs. Gordon took an umbrella. Please check this table as your reference and summary of today's revision. I know you can do it. Good luck!